sitting here waiting for check-in for the procedure, and I'm here with my mama. Hi, mama. Hi. So we are getting ready. Hopefully my voice will be improving a lot after this. So I'm pretty excited to do the procedure and see what happens. We're waiting in the pre-op area. I don't know what's happening, if they're giving me anesthesia or what, but I guess we're just waiting here. My mama, she's coming to visit, so all right, hopefully the procedure goes well. Hi. Okay, so I just got out of my procedure today and I dropped my mom off at the airport. She came to visit for 5 days for the twins' birthday and just to hang out, and it was really lovely to have her here. So we went and got lunch and just walked around a little bit, as you can see, and then I dropped her off and now I'm going home. I have work from 6:30 till 10:30 tonight because I had to switch my schedule around to get the procedure. Basically, the procedure went well. So what I had done was a laryngoscopy where they went in and then they injected the vocal cord in order to make it more plump so that it can function better. So you have two sides, the left and the right side, and what happens is that they come together, the vocal cords, they come together whenever you make a sound, so it kind of like vibrates together like this, and it opens and closes. So what happens is that my right side is paralyzed because of the nerve dysfunction after the surgery, and so only the left side moves whenever I talk or make a sound. So what they did was they put a filler into the right side so that it makes it more thick, and so the right side will be more closer to the midline, so whenever I make a sound, the left side will move and hit the right side, and then it can vibrate and make the sound better. So I already feel like I sound better and it's less strain to talk. They did say that I have to take it easy for the next 24 hours, not to strain my voice and not yell or talk loudly or anything. So work should be fine. But it was a very interesting procedure. It was pretty uncomfortable. What they did was, I wish I could have recorded it, but it was kind of hard to sit there and I wouldn't have been able to take my phone to record the video screen while they were injecting me. So first they sprayed my nose, on the inside of the nose, with lidocaine to numb it up, and then they stick the small camera, it's like this really tiny tube with a camera in it, and then they go through the nose and down into the throat, and then they can visualize the vocal cords, which is around this area right here. And then the other uncomfortable thing they did was that they dripped lidocaine into the area so that it could numb up my vocal cord, and I felt like I was choking the whole time and it tasted nasty, so that was not pleasant. And after they did that, they numbed up the outside of my neck over here where the needle was going to go in, and she basically injected the needle in here and then reached the vocal cord that way, and then that's how she got to it and filled it up. So I saw the whole thing and it was pretty uncomfortable, but overall it wasn't too bad. It took like 10 minutes. It was so fast, and compared to all of the other surgeries that I've had, this is nothing. So I am pretty happy that my voice sounds better already. It's been hard to basically go and go to crowded places because people just can't hear me and I can't really raise my voice. If I'm talking like this, you guys can hear me, but it's been pretty annoying and I miss being able to sing and I love singing and I miss that. So hopefully I can sing again soon. They said that it was going to last about 3 to 6 months. So it's temporary and the filler will eventually dissolve. So after 3 to 6 months, they're going to reevaluate the nerve function. And if the nerve function looks good, then I may not have to do anything, but if it's still not functioning, then I have the option to either do it again or I can do something more permanent where they put this plastic material in there, they said. So we'll see what happens. They did say that it takes about 9 to 12 months for the nerve function to return if it does. So I'm just really hoping that I will recover. But yeah, overall, it was a pretty interesting procedure. I wish I could have recorded it for you guys, but hopefully I explained it okay. And if anybody has to go through the same thing, then you know what to expect. So, yeah. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Laura. Happy birthday. I've been feeling a little bit better this week. I had a whole week to kind of sit back and reflect on what was happening when I wasn't feeling good. And I think that I realized that I went a little bit way too hard. So there's a fine balance when it comes to doing things. So you don't want to overdo it, but at the same time, you also don't want to fall into that victim mindset where woe is me and I can't do anything, and you start making all of these excuses for yourself. So I was kind of on the other end of the spectrum. And for me, I really, really need to be motivated in order to do things. So I tend to either go all in or go all out. But when I go all in, I forget that I need to be gentle with myself and that I need to gradually get to doing things instead of just killing myself at the same time. So I think what I did was I went a little bit too hard. I started on the diet at the same time as getting sick and getting radiation. And then I resumed all of my supplements and took some repurposed medications that I think was a little bit too much for me. So I had to really take a step back and realize that my body can't handle all of those things. And I'm just throwing these things at it, expecting it to be fine, and it's not fine. So that was hard. And it was a good reminder. And so I took a step back and I took off about a week of taking all of the supplements and the medications, and I felt better. I was still eating well, but not super, super strict as I was before. But I was mostly still keeping up with my diet. I haven't exercised for some time because my body was hurting really, really bad. So I just went back to the gym yesterday and I actually booked a free session with a trainer, and that went really well. But I was so sore last night. I couldn't even sleep. It was pretty bad, and we didn't even do that much. So I guess my body is just taking a lot of time to adjust to this new normal, whatever it is. But I know that I can get stronger if I just keep going and keep at it. So the other day I was talking to a friend. I met her on Instagram. She has stage 4 breast cancer, and she was diagnosed a couple years ago when it wasn't stage 4. She went through chemotherapy and mastectomy and did all of the conventional stuff, and it relapsed about, I think, 2 years ago, and then it became stage 4, spread to her liver and to many areas of her bones that are very similar to mine. So I saw her on Instagram through one of my friends' pages, and I saw that she is a workout fanatic and she does a lot of lifting. And I was just so amazed at how she was doing all that while she had surgery, just like me. She had the femur surgery on the right side, put a rod in. So we kind of had a similar story with that, except hers was about 6 months before mine. So we got to talking because I was trying to find out how recovery was going and all that. She also had some complications from it with radionecrosis, so it caused muscle issues, and she had to get hyperbaric oxygen treatments, about 40 sessions for that. So she was in extreme pain all the time, yet she's still going to the gym and she's still lifting and she's still doing all of her stuff. She also does a lot of holistic treatments like taking herbal teas, and she sees like an herbalist and she works on her diet, and we do a lot of very similar things. So I've been keeping in contact with her and we've been encouraging each other. And she actually just got off of all of her hormonal treatments and conventional treatments about 5 months ago. And her scans have been improving. And her most recent scans was about a week ago, and it showed that all of the bone mets were changing from lytic to sclerotic, which means that it's healing. And the liver tumor originally was 4 centimeters and it's now 1 centimeter. And she doesn't have anything new, and all the rib ones and the ones in the pelvis disappeared. So it is just incredible. And that gave me so much hope and so much inspiration. And I know that it's not easy because we talk all the time and we're always complaining to each other about how today sucks or this is hurting, that's hurting. And she also works a full-time job. And so she actually goes into the office and she still has to make time for all of this stuff. So we always complain to each other about how hard it is and we encourage each other to keep going. But during this particular conversation, I found myself complaining a lot. I was making all of these excuses, like why I couldn't get up in the morning, why I didn't have time to exercise, why I couldn't maintain my diet. I mean, I just was kind of going on and on complaining about my life and how hard it was and how burnt out I felt from having to battle this cancer for so long. And of course, she's been doing it for less years than me. But ultimately, at the end of the conversation, I was like, I'm just going to get back into it. You're inspiring me to do better. And if you can get good scan results, I know I can because I've been there and I know that I can do this if I really, really stay consistent and if I really put my mind to it. I just have to get myself out of this rut. So at the end of the conversation, I was like, okay, well, I better get to bed because I have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning for work. And so she was like, well, okay, well, I should get to bed too because I have to get up at 4:30. And I was like, 4:30? How often do you do that? And she said just 4 days a week. And here I am, like sitting there complaining about having to get up at 6 in the morning. So that really hit me. It just kind of like reset my mind. Like, wow, this person is going through all the same things you are, but she's still getting up and she's still doing it. And if she can, then you can too. And it just reminded me of me a couple years ago when I first started this whole journey. And I was so motivated and I was so disciplined. And I think in a way, it's like me grieving myself because I haven't been able to get back to where I want to be. And that makes me feel bad because I feel like I could be doing it, but I'm not. And I know that I've gone through a lot and I've gone through surgeries and I've gone through things that have really changed my life and has changed my physical status. And I can't do the things that I used to do. I can't do certain types of exercises. And I'm definitely weaker than when I was. But it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, you can do it. no matter what position you're in, even if you're so sick and you're just laying in bed, it just takes one step. And that one step could be whatever it is that's right for you at the time. If you keep comparing yourself to your past self and you compare yourself to other people that are going through different things, that's going to end up making you feel really bad. If you think about what you're supposed to be and how society is supposed to see you and all of these expectations that you have and others have on you can really create some turmoil. So I feel like there's like a balance that you need. You need to get out of that victim mindset, but at the same time, you don't want to be pushing yourself so hard that you're not listening to your body and that you're doing more than what you can handle. And that can really put you back and discourage you and lead to failure, which is not a good feeling. After that conversation, I just really thought about it. And I thought about how I've just been in this space where I push myself too hard and then I'll have a setback and then I'll feel so down about it. And then it discourages me from continuing. And there's also something where at some point you kind of just have to get up and do it. You need discipline because you won't always feel motivated. A lot of times you won't feel motivated, but discipline is like making that promise to yourself, setting goals, setting small goals to be able to achieve it so that you can trust yourself and that you can continue with it. So discipline is really what we all need. I mean, you can read a ton of self-help books. You can research all the supplements in the world and what kind of diet is going to be good. Is it this one or that one? How should you exercise? What other things can you do to fight cancer? I mean, I've been there. I do that where I just consume all of this information and I'm researching, reading, binging on YouTube videos, but I'm not taking action. So you don't need to read all of these books. You just need to pick something and you do it and you stick with it. And day by day, you get better. So this is going to be my goal, especially when it comes to getting fit and exercising. So I'm going to start going to the gym and weight training again. I have been going, but I haven't been consistent. I'm not going there with intention, with a goal, with a purpose. I'm kind of just going there to do the movement, just kind of like get through it and feel better that I exercise. But I think having a goal and setting an intention and having something to work towards will make it so much better. So that's my next plan, is to gain some weight and gain some muscles, keep working on my diet in terms of supplements and medications. I'm still working that out right now because every time I take them, it seems like my body kind of doesn't really agree with them right now. So I'm just going to restart them one at a time and go from there and kind of work with my integrative doctor to see what he thinks as well. But the message for today is really just to help encourage you to get out there and to start taking action. Because honestly, if you don't do that and you're just really stuck in your head and you want to get motivated and you want to do these things, but you just can't and you start to beat yourself up for it, that's just really toxic. It just takes me time to realize all these things, and it's all things that I've known, but I just have to really get back into the swing of things. I was reading this book by Edwin McManus called Mind Shift, and it was so good. There was a part, like a quote, where he was saying, if your life is only happening by accident, you're just existing. If you're only living beneath your potential, you're just existing. If you're only surrendering your uniqueness for acceptance, you're just existing. If you're living for pleasure and profit rather than love and purpose, you're just existing. So I don't want to just be existing. I want to live. And so this is what this whole cancer journey has taught me, is to not exist. I want to do more than that. So I hope that this video encourages you and lifts up your day. And I guess I just like to ramble on when I feel inspired. So I will see you in my next video. Okay, love you. Bye.